Hello, my name's Neil and welcome back to Retro for You. On today's episode we're working on this. Yes, it's an A1200. Now I picked this up from the local computer club I go to in Telford, the West Midlands Amiga Group. I shall put a link down below to that place. Now there was somebody there who had this and having a few problems with it, and I thought I could have a look at that for him. He did ask me. I thought, why not? Let's have a look. So what it's doing is it's outputting a black screen, and that's all it's doing, nothing else. It's got a light but just a black screen. So today we're going to see if we can get that fixed. So without further ado, let's crack on. Here we are, the Amiga that I picked up from the Amiga meet. Now I was there talking to people, etc., and I looked over and saw this guy, seen him a few times, and he's messing inside this Amiga. He had a screwdriver inside it, he was spraying out his ROM chips, etc. So I went over just to have a look and I said, what are you doing? He said, can't get it working, I just get a black screen. I said, yeah, looking at the ROMs is a good idea. I mean, a lot of people do say online each of ROMs can cause a black screen. So all he was getting was a black screen. So we ended up talking. Then in the end, he asked me, because he knew I did YouTube, etc., and I dabbled in a few repairs. He said, can you take this home and have a look at it? I said, look, it's December. I've got no time at all. And he said, there's no worries. He said, whenever you get time to look at it. And now it's February and I'm going to look at this. It's hooked up to the OSSC, so the screen behind should be what we're displaying on this. So what we're going to do, we'll just turn it on and I'll show you what it's doing. As you can see, we just get a black screen and that is it, nothing else. We do have a power light, which is good, so there is some power going into it. It hasn't got a floppy drive fitted. The case is all loose. This is how it came to me and this is how it's going back to him, but hopefully it'll go back to him working. The plan is today we're going to strip this out, the board. It shouldn't take long because there's no screws in the thing, and then we're going to just have the board on the bench and we're going to start testing it. I am going to pop in some diagrams which are freshly burnt, and I have tested them in my Amiga behind, so do know that they work. So without further ado, let's crack on. All being well, this should be one of the quickest strip downs we've done on the show. Looking at the board, it looks clean. It looks like all the corrosion was under here, which you can see. So we'll just clean that off later before we put it back together. It's a good job I had that plastic to protect the board. You see here, it all looks pretty well, really clean. The board itself is quite good. So a quick overview of the board. It does look like quite clean, etc., and there's no capacitors I can see leaking. We can have a look under the microscope later. We'll remove this cable here. We should really fit a DF0 terminator on here. I did order one, but one never came through in time. Capacitor there, that way we can work out on the camera, does look a bit bulgy, and it is a 470 UF 16 volt. That could do with replacing, ideally, in an ideal world. So maybe we do replace that later, but I don't think that's going to cause a black screen, so we're just going to leave it alone for now. First of all, we're going to check the voltages. So let's go. We should have 12 volt on this pin here, which we have, and we should have 5 volt on that pin there, which again we have. So that's the voltages checking out okay, so that's a good sign. So let's just crack on with the next part. The first thing I said I was going to do was remove these ROMs and to fit some diagrams. So let's get that done now. Now you can see some marks here, I don't know if you can see this on the socket, where they've had the screwdriver in there removing it, but I guess we've all done it in the past, so it is what it is. We can't do anything about it. It's not damaged it too much. So what we're going to do, I've got some diagrams here. Now high goes in the bottom and low goes in the top. Now I know that doesn't make sense. You'd think it'd be high, low, but I guarantee that's the way it is. So just like that, they're in and fitted correctly. I think they seem to have sat in nicely, which is good. So let's apply some power and see what's going on again. I've got the screen connected, I've got the LEDs connected, so let's just turn that on. And again, all we got is a light. Now that doesn't pulsate as well, which generally means the system isn't starting as far as I'm aware. This should go dim and then go brighter again, which means the system is trying to start. So at the moment, I don't know what's going on. Tell you what we can do, we can get the thermal camera out, we can have a look to see if any of the chips are heating up, because we may as well use it while we've got it, and it may be interesting to look at, to be honest. So I'm just going to connect that up and I'll be back. So looking over the board here with the infrared camera, we can see some of the chipset is heating up, which is a good sign. So there is power getting across the board, but for some reason this machine does not want to start. There's no overly hot spots, so there's nothing that's absolutely burning, piping hot. They're all around 30 degrees, 36 degrees, which is okay in my standards. So we're just going to leave it there with the camera. Oh yes, and I forgot to check the other side. Silly me. We've looked at the thermal camera and you can see there is something going on with the chipset. Chipset is heating up, but there wasn't anything overly hot, which is great. So there wasn't anything actually cooking itself. So that's done its job and spotted no shorts, etc. There's no capacitors shorting and getting really hot, etc. or components. So what we're going to do next is we're going to use the oscilloscope and see if we can scope out the clock signal to see if the CPU is running, and also the reset line. These can be scoped out from the TP1 here. Now the end one here is for the clock signal, and the second one along here is the reset line. I did send a message to AmigaSpirit regarding TP1 and TP2 to see if he had the pinouts for these. I have actually found them now on the schematic, but before I thought I'd just message him, I get a quick answer off him, and this was his answer.
I am Cornholio. I need TP for my bunghole.
So as you can tell then, this actually stuck in my head all night and I actually had to go and watch the movie. So thanks a lot AmigaSpirit for reminding me about that. But all jokes aside, AmigaSpirit is a great guy. He's very knowledgeable on these Amigas and he's always there to help me if I need any help or advice on these. A big thumbs up to AmigaSpirit. I'll put a link down to his website down below. Let's just scope out these signals now and see if we're getting anything. Just need to connect the crocodile to the ground, and then we're just going to apply some power, and we're first going to see if we can scope out the clock. Should be about 14 megahertz. There you are, just slipped off. So it is there. It looks like a shark tooth, but it is running at 14.49 megahertz or 13.9, which looks pretty good. So that looks to me like the CPU is running. Well, the CPU clock is running. It's a good sign that the machine is trying to start. So next what we'll do, we'll have a look at the reset signal, which was here. Now this should be high as far as I understand. If I'm wrong, then let me know, but that is low. So it looks like that may be stuck low. Let's just turn it on and off again because it should go low to high. So I turn that on and turn it off. Just make sure I'm definitely on that pin. Yes, I am. There you go. There's no difference at all with that. So that looks to me like the reset is stuck low. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to look for some information on this reset line and see if I can find out where it actually comes from and then diagnose it from there onwards. So bear with me, I'll be back in a bit. Looking online, I found this diagram here for the Amiga 1200 revision 2B reset signals, and this was very helpful to me. It shows that the reset signal originates from U49, which is a transistor. So what it says is U49 will assert power OK low on U13 until voltage reaches about 4.3 volt. Then it will deassert, which will put the high through the resistor R629 and the C29 RC circuit. So there's a capacitor there and a resistor. I guess it's a pull-up resistor. And then it goes all the way through the board, etc., onto the Gale, onto Lisa, Paula, CIA, the odd CI, Budgie, the CPU, etc. Basically goes all around the board. And also you can see there TP1 test point, which is where we were, but it remained low. So as far as I'm concerned, this is where it originates from. So if you look there, we've got pin 2, which is VCC, so we can check that to check we've got 5 volt in a minute. And also pin 1 there, which should be, as far as I'm concerned, 5 volt coming out of there as well. That's as far as I understand it. Just let me know down below. I'm still trying to get to grips with this, but this has helped me, and I think I do understand it more. Let's just have a look under the scope now, and we'll get the meter, and we'll take some readings to see what's happening. The center pin should have 5 volt on it, which it has, and this one also should be 5 volt, but it's 0.5 volt. So that to me is wrong. 5 volt end is resistor, which there is, and at the other end we've got 0.51. So something wrong is going. So 0.51 is going from there to there, which is wrong, but we've got 5 volt there, obviously, because that's coming from that side there, which makes sense. I've got another board here, a scrap board, and we can plug this in and we'll take some readings off this as well and see if this is the same or if it's different. So let me just connect that up. So this is my scrap board, which I'm probably going to use for donor parts, and let's just check the voltage on this. We have 5 volt there, and we have 5 volt there. So this one looks like this one is working, because we've probably got 5 volt there and 5 volt there. Yeah, because this was reading 0.51, wasn't it? So this transistor here must be knackered. So what we need to do is remove this transistor, because this one looks good, and replace it onto the other board. Hopefully that's going to be causing my issue. So let's just get this removed. Now we're going to do the same with the other one. So we think this one is faulty, so we're just going to warm it up again with some flux. So as I've always said, when using solder wick, the best thing to do is to always just cut a piece off and then use it like so, because then you're not using the whole lot as a heat sink, because it acts as a heat sink if you use our roll. So a little piece like that, just as easy as that, in your tweezers, and you can clean those pads up lovely, like you can see. we're going to retest this now. We should have 5 volt on each side of this resistor here. So we've got 5 volt and we have 1.4 still. So changing that has made no difference. Something's dragging the voltage down. Now there is a cap. I'm not quite sure where it is. At first I thought it might be this cap here, but I don't think it is. So I'm just going to open up Amiga PCB Explorer and just have a search and see where that capacitor is. We're on Amiga PCB Explorer and the one we're looking for is C629. So C629, we'll press enter. It is a capacitor and it is a 330 NF and it is on the underside next to C13. So let's just have a look, see if we can find that. I've just had a look at the other board and there doesn't seem to be a C629 on there, but I do have some capacitors. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take that one off. I'm just going to get some hot air and get that removed. Actually, no, we've got hot tweezers, haven't we? So I'm just going to try and take that off using these hot tweezers. Something we need to use a bit more. Look at that, that was so easy. So now we've removed that off, what we can do is we can get another capacitor and stick that into place. Again, maybe we can use hot tweezers. So just like that. Look at that, that was really simple actually. I've not used these before for this. We'll just check that has actually took. But all we need to do is just tidy it up a bit with a soldering iron. So we'll just get some flux around there. Going to test the same again, this side of the resistor and that side of the resistor. So we've got 5 volt here, correctamundo, and here we had 2.5 and we've got 5 volt there. So that to me now sounds very promising. And we got 5 volt on that leg as well. We have. So it looks like that capacitor was faulty and dragging the voltage down on the reset line. The next thing to do is we're going to connect it back up to the video grabber and we're going to see if we can get an image. We're just about ready to start to turn this on, so wish me luck guys. Now already that light's flickering and we've got an output. That is brilliant. This is Diag1 running through some diagnostics now. So looks like jobs are good, and guys, we've actually managed to fix something on the channel again. So it's been quite a learning process and I'm so happy to see this running now. It's so great. So now this is running and we've got the Diag screen up. What we need to do next is just put it back together how it was, connect the keyboard up so we can run some of these diagnostics tests and see how it goes. So we're just ready, it's back together, we're ready to turn it back on again. It's still booting, which is absolutely amazing. So this is all good. And we can run to the different thingies. So let's just run sysinfo. I have to hit the enter key really hard to get it working. It seems that the membrane is not too good in this. It needs either stripping down, replacing and cleaning. Ideally it wants replacing with one of those solid ones. So I will let him know that He also has an issue with one of the audio jacks. I should be able to get that changed out as well for him. So let's just press, is it escape to go back? Yes. So that ran okay. If we go to audio tests, and we can play test module. Starting to play music now. So just before we go, we're just going to turn this back on again. I've put his original ROMs back in. My two are here, which were my diag ROMs, you can see. And I also did put this hard drive into test, which has got Amiga Game Selector, but unfortunately, because I haven't got an accelerator in, it didn't have enough memory to run any games. But you can see there now, it's booting perfectly. And it did run all that software. The only problem now with this is its keyboard membrane is knackered, but you expect that on these Amigas at this age. That's it for now. I'll see you in the outro. At least now this is a working Amiga. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did enjoy the video, then please give it a thumbs up. Also, comment down below, even if it's hello. Also, comment down below if I did something wrong, because obviously, I said before, I'm no expert. I'm learning, but I learn from your comments. So, big thanks to everybody that comments with correcting me the way I do things. Check out down below. There's links to my fellow YouTubers. There's the likes of 8-Bit Retro Refix, Captain Commodore, and Josib Retro. They all do great things, so go along and check out their channels as well. There's also a link to the Discord down below where you can come along and speak to us all. We're all in there, all the people from the YouTube Retro Repairers, as well as some others like Matt fixes stuff, StatMatt's in there, and we all just generally talk about retro stuff. We ask each other questions about repairing things, etc. So it's worth a chance just to join there, just to come and say hello. Now, next week I am going to be building a new project, hopefully. If I'm not on a project, I will be picking up another computer to repair. I may even revisit the 68008 because we do need to revisit that, the expansion for the BBC B. Now I'm getting more used to using the oscilloscope. Like I said before, I'm learning all the way. I should hopefully be able to discover some signals on that and see where we're going. So that's about it for now. A big thank you to everybody, and I shall see you next time on Retro for You. See you soon, guys. Bye.